Once upon a time, a little tiny white kitten lived in a cozy home filled with love. One bright morning, the kitten opened her big blue eyes and felt curious about the world.
She stretched her little paws and jumped down, ready for a brand new day.
Through the window, she saw a garden full of colors waiting for her to explore. The little tiny white kitten's heart filled with excitement as she dreamed of adventures outside. Slowly, the tiny white kitten followed the sunshine that led her toward the garden door. With a gentle nudge, she pushed the door open and peeked outside curiously. What a wonderful sight! The garden was full of flowers, colors, and butterflies. She took her first tiny step onto the grass, and a butterfly danced nearby. The tiny white kitten reached out her paw, giggling inside as the butterfly flew away playfully.
The tiny white kitten wandered happily into the garden, where tall sunflowers reached for the sky.
She sniffed a red tulip, tickling her nose with its soft petals and sweet scent. Tiny ladybugs crawled on the leaves, and the tiny white kitten watched them with delight.
She wanted to touch them but remembered to be gentle, for they were small and fragile. Happily, the tiny white kitten skipped along the path, her fluffy tail swishing behind her. At the pond, she saw her own reflection and a shiny fish swimming by. She dipped her paw in the water, watching the ripples dance in the sunlight. Butterflies twirled all around her, making the garden feel like a magical place.
The tiny white kitten felt so happy, her little heart full of joy in the beautiful garden.
She rested for a moment in the sunshine, feeling safe and loved by nature. After her nap, the tiny white kitten stretched wide and felt ready for more exploring. She followed the little path, her tiny paws tapping gently on the ground. Suddenly, she heard a soft rustle in the bushes and stopped to listen closely.
Out popped a friendly squirrel, holding a tiny acorn in his little paws.
The tiny white kitten waved her paw kindly, and the squirrel looked back with bright eyes.
But then, crash! A flower pot tumbled down, giving the tiny white kitten quite a scare.
She looked around, her heart beating fast, wondering what had happened. But the little tiny white kitten remembered to be brave, even when things felt scary. She stepped closer to the pot, sniffing the flowers that had fallen out gently. Together, the tiny white kitten and squirrel began to fix the mess with kindness and care. Side by side, the tiny white kitten and the squirrel worked together to make things right. The tiny white kitten used her paw, and the squirrel used his tiny hands to fix the flowers. A butterfly landed on her ear, reminding her that kindness brings gentle beauty. Soon, even the birds came to watch, amazed at how they worked together. From that moment, the tiny white kitten and squirrel became the best of friends. They giggled together,
sharing joy as simple as sunshine and laughter.
The flowers stood tall again, and the tiny white kitten felt proud of what they had done. Together, they learned that helping each other makes the world brighter.
As the sun began to set, the tiny white kitten and her new friend walked home together.
She gazed at the colorful sky, feeling thankful for the day's adventure.
The squirrel chatted away, and the tiny white kitten listened with kindness in her heart. They held each other close, knowing friendship made them stronger together.
Before leaving, she looked back at the garden that had taught her so much.
She sat quietly, learning that even small friends can share big lessons. A firefly landed on her paw, reminding her that gentle moments shine the brightest. With every step, she felt braver, kinder, and more thankful for her journey. She learned that sharing joy with others made life's path brighter and easier.
At the garden gate, the tiny white kitten paused, ready to head back home with a full heart.
With a gentle step, she walked through the gate, carrying the day's lesson in her heart. Step by step, she climbed up the porch, her paws soft and steady. She nudged the door open, greeted by the gentle light of her safe home. She curled up by the window, watching the stars twinkle in the dark sky. Her eyes grew heavy, and soon she drifted off into sweet, gentle dreams. And so, the little tiny white kitten ended her day, safe, loved, and full of joy. The little tiny white kitten yawned sweetly and stretched her soft, fluffy paws wide. She hopped down from her pillow, curious to see what adventures awaited her. Through the window, she saw the garden glowing brightly with morning sunshine. Her heart filled with joy as she dreamed of all the wonders waiting outside.
With tiny steps, she ran to the door, ready for another bright adventure.
The garden greeted her with shining dew and even a rainbow in the sky.
She spotted butterflies twirling in the air, and her eyes grew wide with wonder.
The tiny white kitten bounced happily, chasing the butterflies with her gentle little steps.
She sat still at last, laughing softly as the butterflies danced all around her. The tiny white kitten wandered deeper into the garden, curious about the quiet path ahead.
Suddenly, she heard a soft chirp and wondered who might be calling her.
Peeking under the bush, she found a baby bird sitting all alone on the ground. The tiny white kitten leaned close, her gentle heart filled with care for the tiny bird.
She meowed softly, hoping the baby bird's family would hear and come to help.
At last, the baby bird's mother fluttered down.
The tiny white kitten sat quietly, knowing she had helped without ever needing to touch.
She watched with a gentle smile as the mother guided her baby back to safety.
Soon, the The little bird was safe again in its nest, high above the garden floor.
The tiny white kitten learned that helping kindly, even in small ways, makes a big difference.
Soon the sky grew dark, and tiny raindrops began to fall from above.
Raindrops tickled her nose, making her shake with a tiny, playful wiggle.
All around her, little animals ran for cover as the rain grew stronger.
The tiny white kitten wrapped her fluffy tail around him to keep him warm and dry. The little hedgehog snuggled close, safe beneath the tiny white kitten's soft white fur.
The rain grew stronger, but she stayed brave, searching for a safe shelter.
At last, she spotted a hollow log where they could rest safe and sound.
She let her friend go in first, showing care and kindness above all else.
Together they waited out the rain, learning that helping others feels warm inside too.
At last, the rain stopped, and sunlight sparkled gently across the garden once more.
The tiny white kitten peeked outside, amazed at how the raindrops glittered like jewels.
Her little hedgehog friend stepped out first, and she followed with a smile.
She lifted her paw toward the rainbow, dreaming of all the wonders ahead.
Above them stretched a rainbow, painting the sky with beautiful colors of hope.
The garden shimmered, every flower glowing like tiny stars in the daylight.
She sniffed a rose, giggling when a raindrop landed on her little nose. Side by side, they watched the rainbow, thankful for friendship and sunshine.
The world looked new again, shining with colors of hope, love, and kindness. The tiny white kitten wandered into the orchard, where shiny apples hung from tall trees.
She spotted a low apple and reached her tiny paw up curiously toward it.
She leapt up to reach it but missed, landing with a soft and gentle bounce.
The apple was too high, and the tiny white kitten realized she noticed a little bird nearby and wondered if it could help her reach. The kind bird pecked at the apple, helping her in the sweetest way. With a soft thump, the apple landed safely beside her little paws.
Instead of keeping it, she shared the apple with rabbits who were hungry too.
She watched with joy as her new friends nibbled happily, thankful for her gift. The tiny white kitten learned that sharing makes hearts full, even more than keeping things.
As the evening came, the tiny white kitten wandered farther.
Suddenly, she heard a soft cry nearby, gentle yet a little sad.
She peeked into the bushes and found a tiny turtle stuck between two stones.
The tiny white kitten knew she had to help, even though the turtle was bigger than she was.
She pushed and pushed, but the stone was heavy, so she stopped to think wisely. Just then, her friends came to help, ready to work together with her.
With teamwork, the stone finally moved, and the turtle began to wiggle free.
The turtle looked up with thankful eyes, grateful for her kindness and care.
Soon, they all sat together, friends of every kind, glowing with joy in the night.
The tiny white kitten learned that even the hardest challenges become easy with friends.
As the stars came out, the tiny white kitten and her friends began walking.
She looked up at the moon, feeling safe under its soft, silvery glow.
Her friends stayed close, each step reminding them of the joy of friendship.
Ahead, her warm little home glowed, inviting her back after her long day.
She turned to her friends, smiling with love, and thanked them for their help.
Each friend answered in their own way, happy to have shared the journey.
She climbed her porch steps, ready to rest in the warmth of her little home.
She curled up by the window, her heart full of lessons and love.
Her blue eyes closed slowly, drifting into sweet dreams of tomorrow's adventures.
And so, the little tiny white kitten's day ended, safe